Meanwhile, it took less than 3 hours for a jury in Washington, D.C. to come to a decision in former Trump aide Steve Bannon's criminal contempt trial. Skylar Henry joins us with more on that decision and what's next for Steve Bannon.
The jury has found former Trump aide Steve Bannon guilty of 2 counts of contempt of Congress.
We may have lost a battle here today, but we're not going to lose this war. In the closing argument, the prosecutor missed one very important phrase, right? I stand with Trump and the Constitution, and I will never back off that, ever.
Bannon refused to comply with congressional subpoenas to testify before the January 6th committee. His lawyers say he did so on advice of previous attorneys claiming executive privilege, even though he didn't work at the White House at the time.
Former president invoked executive privilege. You may not comply. Again, you can debate whether he could have complied in part or in full. He listened to his lawyer.
The judge in this case rejected executive privilege claims even before this trial began. As a result, Bannon's lawyers called no witnesses and produced no evidence in his case.
You will see this case reversed on appeal.
Bannon's lawyer used his closing arguments to question whether the signature on the subpoena was actually that of committee chairman Benny Thompson. Prosecutors argued Bannon openly bragged that he would refuse to comply with the subpoenas. Why didn't he show up? He didn't show up because he didn't want to provide the January 6th committee with the documents. He did not want to answer their questions, and when it really comes down to it, he didn't want to recognize the government's authority. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
And the leaders of that committee issued statements today calling the verdict a, quote, victory for the rule of law. The chairman, Benny Thompson, and the vice chair, Liz Cheney, said Bannon, quote, chose allegiance to Donald Trump over compliance with the law.